Are you a Black woman who has something you want to do, but you are putting it off until later or until things are perfect? If so, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about how location freedom and time freedom can help us overcome something that I just found out was a thing. Like I knew it because I've lived it, but there is an actual condition called delayed life syndrome. I say condition, but really it's just like a state of mind. And I, in the past, have suffered from it, sometimes still do. But we are going to talk about how to overcome that and how location freedom and time freedom can help us do that. But first, let me tell you who I am. My name is Celeste. I am a contract worker. And on my channel, I talk about how Black women can achieve time freedom using contract work. I use contract work to allow myself to take breaks between work where I can slow travel and rest and play. And I talk about how other people can use contract work to do the same thing. And I also coach Black women who work specifically in the fields of digital and marketing in the areas that I work in, on how they can transition from a full time job to a contract position so that they can experience more time freedom. And if you want to know more about that, you can check out my resources at bit.ly.resetwithceleste. There you'll find a link where you can book a call with me or just learn more. Okay, so if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so today, like I said, we're going to talk about how time freedom and location freedom can help with this syndrome or this mentality of putting things off until later. So, I literally just found out today that this was a thing, delayed life syndrome. It was a term coined by a Russian professor. His last name is Serkin, Serkin. I'll link to some resources in the description. And the idea is that like we suffer or suck it up now or just postpone our joy and happiness until either some mythical later date or until we achieve something or become something, right? So when I get X, when I become X or get X, then I can do Y and Z, right? Um, and then, as Americans specifically, we are really programmed with this idea of like work now, um, give your life and your energy and your youth and all of this to, the machine. And then at the end, you'll be able to retire and enjoy it, if you make it to the end and if you're still healthy enough, right? So a couple things about that. Number one, later might not come. And I think the pandemic taught a lot of us that lesson, if we didn't know it already. And two, the time is never going to be perfect. Um, and the conditions will probably never be perfect either. So just do the thing under whatever the conditions are. So, case in point, I right now am doing something under imperfect conditions and imperfect timing. I don't normally house sit and travel while I'm working. I think the concept of being a digital nomad sounds horrible. I I can see the ocean, but I can't go in it because I'm stuck at my laptop working. Like that sounds terrible. Um, when I'm away or abroad, I wanna I want control over my time. I don't want to have to be like stuck at a desk or stuck, tied to a laptop. or stuck in the house all day and only able, or in the hotel or Airbnb or whatever, and only able to go out and enjoy the place in the evenings or on weekends. That's just me. I know some people love, like, dream about that, but I don't like peanut butter in my chocolate. I want to be in either work mode or in travel mode. But an opportunity came up, and I am currently taking advantage of it. And so I want to share just a few lessons and insights from that. Okay. So, number one, location freedom. I have location freedom because as a contractor, I work remotely. I work 100% remote. And that is something, remote work is getting harder and harder to find. And, I don't know what my future situation will be on my next contract. But what I do know is that it is much easier to work remotely as a contractor than as a full-time employee. So that's, I talk about contract work a lot on this channel, and I talk about all the benefits and the time off and all of those other things. That's another benefit and another reason to consider it. So as I mentioned earlier, if you want to talk to me about contract work, the link is bit.ly/reset with Celeste. Okay. So that was, I don't know, not lesson number one, but like that was sort of like what allowed this to happen for me. Oh, and I didn't tell you like what happened. So basically, I got to spend a couple weeks in New York, seeing shows and concerts and just having a blast. So location freedom allowed me to do that. Secondly, I think there is something to be said for making your plans and moving forward with them, right? So I didn't wait and say like, oh, it'd be nice, oh, whatever. What happened was I wanted to see The Wiz, and The Wiz was about to end. And I was like, well, I've got a couple weekends to make my plans and book these tickets. So I started making my plans so I could book the tickets. But the tickets were high because the show is about to end, and apparently the closer it gets to the end, the higher the tickets are. So I called my friend and I was like, girl, is this show worth, this money that they're asking for? And, she said, yes. And then she said another thing, which is number 3. Tip number 3 is, like Stephanie Perry says all the time, talk your talk. I talked my talk, meaning I talk about the things that I'm doing to my friends and the people that I know. So this friend that I was talking to about the price of these Wiz tickets also knew that I was a house sitter, that I had stayed at people's homes and cared for their pets. This is a good friend. I stay at her place, when I come to visit. But she also had that extra confidence that like I know how to like care for animals and keep them alive. So as we were, talking about the price of these tickets, she said, well, why don't you just come and stay at my place? We are going to be elsewhere. So they are traveling, and her and her husband are traveling and having a fabulous time. But she was like, yeah, just come stay at my place, and then you can probably get like a cheap weeknight ticket to see The Wiz. I was like, oh, you know what? Yes. So location freedom allowed this to happen. That's number 1. Number 2, I made my plans. I didn't worry about it being perfect or whatever. I just moved forward with doing the research and trying to figure it out. And an opportunity arose out of that. And then 3, I talked my talk. And so people in my life know what I'm doing. And so when they hear things or something comes up, they're like, oh, Celeste. So, all right. So I packed up my work equipment in my clothes, and I came to New York. Um, Working during the day, I was not thrilled about having to do that. As I said, I like to be in either travel mode or work mode, and having to kind of split up the day and be in the house all day was not ideal. But let me tell y'all what I did. Your girl saw all the shows, like all of them. So, oh, I gotta hold this up so you can see. Okay, so The Wiz, which is the show I came up here to see, right? But I saw a bunch of other stuff. Um, let me show you before I move on from The Wiz. The Wiz was amazing, by the way. Hopefully, y'all all got to see it. I think it ends tonight, maybe tomorrow. But it's amazing, amazing, and I love The Wiz anyway. I loved I saw the original like play with Stephanie Mills when I was a kid. And I love the movie as well. I mean, you can't beat the movie. I love it. And this was like it kept all the like critical things that you need to, like don't go changing up, if it's broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it also added like some modern touches. Hey, Roshni. Yeah, maybe they recorded it and they'll release it or something. I don't know. But if you don't do anything else, get the cast recording because, okay. All right. So I just want to show you one last thing from The Wiz. And this is my Harlem Candle Company candle. So I have a little project where I've been trying to find candle scents that I love. And I had been wanting to try something from this company anyway. So when I saw they had a little Wiz candle, I was like, oh, this is cute. And it smelled good. Let's see if I can get it open. But the problem is I want to keep it. If I burn it, I won't have it anymore. So, I don't know. But anyway, isn't that cute? That's cute. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's that. All right. So once I got here, so this is my other little hack that I'll share. My friend was like, well, I told her, I was like, I'm coming to see The Wiz. Okay, great. I want to see this other show. And then she was like, okay, well, when you get here, you can just get this app and then do these rush tickets and get like $50 tickets day of for whatever you want to see. So that's what your girl did. Okay. And so saw a bunch of other stuff, right? And Juliet, which is like a musical concert thingy, but like a retelling of like what if the story of Romeo and Juliet didn't end with, Juliet committing suicide or whatever. Okay. Illinois. And then I never did this before, like waiting by the stage door and the cast comes out and signs the playbills. I usually don't do that, but I was doing all the things. So I did that. Illinois, I saw this one because it was ending. It ended last Saturday. And this was very much a story told through dance. It was not like a traditional musical. But anyway, it was really interesting. I liked it. Let me show the Gryffindor. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. This play is 3 hours and 30 minutes long. So I was like, oh, let me take a Saturday. Like, I need a full afternoon for this. So saw this and then wasn't really trying to meet people, but I met Edward Highland, I think his name is, who played Dumbledore and Amos Dickory in the play. And he just came up to me and started talking. He signed it. He was like, you don't know who I am, do you? And I was like, no. He's like, oh, I played, Dumbledore, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh. And he, just chit-chatting. And then he's like, oh, how long are you here? What else are you seeing? He told me I needed to go see his daughter in Little Shop of Horrors. His daughter is Sarah Hyland from Modern Family, which I have never seen. I know that's weird, but that's just, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of sitcoms. But he showed me her picture. He was like, this is my daughter. And I was like, okay, she looks familiar. He's like, you don't know who she is? So anyway, he was like, that's my daughter. She was in Modern Family. She's in Little Shop of Horrors. You got to go see it. So I went to see Little Shop of Horrors. I met Sarah Hyland. I told her, hey, your dad sent me to see you. And it was delightful. And I had never seen it, never seen any other like version of the play or anything else. Okay, let me move along. Oh, Rusty, you like Little Shop of Horrors? Yeah, I had never seen it. I'm weird. I've never seen The Notebook either. That's on Broadway. But anyway, okay. 6. So this is about Henry VIII and all his wives, and it's basically like a concert. Like there's not a story; it's just all singing. But it's great, and it's traveling. There's a traveling version of it, but you know, if you can see it on Broadway, see it on Broadway. But you know, if you can't see it where you are, okay. Hadestown. This one, I really wanted to see it, but I wasn't necessarily planning to see it during this trip. But what happened, let me tell you what happened. So I got up here and I was only going to see The Wiz and Six. But once I got here and I got the app, the rush tickets, and I kind of got plugged into the whole Broadway thing, I saw like shows were ending, or there were shows that were limited engagement that are only here for another, 2 months. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get back to see it. Or there are shows where the stars are leaving the cast. And so Hadestown, that's what happened with Hadestown. The guy, I think Jordan Fisher, who's the lead, he's leaving this fall at some point. Stephanie Mills, who's in it, is leaving, I think, this fall as well. So I was like, oh, okay, let me bump this one up the list. Love the music. This was a good show. Okay. And then just 2 more quick ones. Book of Mormon, this has been here, this has been out forever. There's traveling shows, in different cities, whatever, but I just never saw it. So this was just kind of a check the box thing. I don't know if the humor in it kind of holds up in 2024. And also it's the guys from South Park. And so their brand of humor is a little, not the same as mine. But like the songs were good, whatever, it was fine. A rush ticket, $45. Okay. And then Once Upon a Mattress. This one I didn't even know existed until I got here and I got the app and I was looking at what was playing. And the reason I saw this is because, well, 1, I got a rush ticket for $45. 2, it stars Sutton Foster and Michael Urie, who I love, both of them. And then 3, it was produced, written, something, by Amy Sherman Palladino, who is the creator of Gilmore Girls, and I will see anything that she does. So that's that. Okay, so yes, so did all the things. Also caught Summer for the City. This is like a series that that Lincoln Center puts on. So last Friday they did a free concert. There's this, I guess, DJ J Period, and he does this thing called a live mixtape, or he invites different hip hop performers and he kind of DJs behind them, whatever, this whole thing. And it's like an interactive thing. Like that's the part of it. That's the live mixtape. But they did a show with Slick Rick and KRS-One and special surprise guests. So again, free. So I got a little free ticket. I went. The special surprise guests were, so Evil D from Black Moon, if you know who that is, was the DJ. So I was like, there's probably going to be like Buckshot from Black. It's probably going to be a little Black Moon thing. And there was. So I saw Black Moon. So if you remember, like, who got the props, how many MCs must get dissed, that's that group from the 90s. MC Light, you could knock me over with a feather. When KRS-One was like, so he did his part of Self-Destruction, and then he was like introducing MC Light. I was like, oh my God. So amazing. And then Drez from Black Sheep. So I was happy as a clam. If y'all don't know this about me, I love old school hip hop. I'm an old school hip hop girly. So, yay. Okay, so I think that's it for show and tell, but let me kind of circle back to the topic, which is about delayed life syndrome. So all of these things that I did, most of the things that I did, I could only do now, right? Plays were ending, people were leaving the plays. That concert only happened that one time. Like maybe I could catch some of those people on some other lineup at some point in the future, but like who knows when, where, how, whatever. So Roshi said she would have died. Kara's the one I had seen before. But you know, I don't think you can see Kara's one too many times. I love him. And then MC Light I had never seen. And so that was the one I was like, oh my God. So yes, loved it. Was out in my poncho in the rain. And, you know, I was like, I'm too old. I was standing in line and I was like, I'm too old to be out here in a poncho in the rain trying to wait on this hip hop concert. But oh my God, I'm so glad I did. And it didn't, you know, it kind of drizzled off and on, but like once the show started, we didn't even notice. It was fine. Okay. So yes, I took advantage of things that were, you know, this was the time to do them. And yeah, and I was able to do that because, you know, because I took the steps and all the other stuff, but also because I had location freedom. Time freedom is another one. You can do a whole bunch of stuff if you have some time freedom, which is why I talk so much about contract work and how that just allows you to free up your time. So I'm going to pause right here. I want to know, if you're watching from the future, if you're watching now, what is something that you want to do that you are putting off? And why are you putting it off? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so it's so funny that Rashni is here in the comments because the resource that I was going to drop. Oh, wait, my video got fuzzy. Hold on, let me see. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Okay. So where were we? Okay, yes. So the resource I wanted to share with you all is a video that I try to watch once a quarter. And it's a video from Rashni, aka Glamazzini, and it's called 10 myths that are keeping you from living. Yeah, self-explanatory. If you are out here making a list of things for someday, I encourage you to figure out how you can make someday today or make someday sometime soon. At least do the research and start the planning. So when opportunity arises, you can jump on it. That is basically the story of what happened to me and how I ended up in New York for 2 weeks, seeing all the shows and doing all the things. All right, I think I'm gonna end there. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. It was something a little different. But yeah, just wanted to share that. Oh, you know what else I'm gonna share? So let me just switch to house sitting for just a second. So, you know, I talked about how my friend knew a house at whatever. If there is something that you want to do, you can use house sitting as a way to do that. So whether it's like seeing an art exhibition or a show, or you want to be in town for, you know, whatever. Oh, I didn't even mention this. It's restaurant week. Your girl went to Gramercy Tavern last Saturday. Your girl went to Filet Gumbo Bar. It's Harlem Week. I'm going over there today. My visit coincided with the Dominican Day Parade and with NBC's Olympic Village over at Rockefeller Center. And maybe that's it. But like, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And so I'm really glad I was able to come here and take advantage of it. Okay, but anyway, so back to the house sitting Broadway hack. That's what I want to talk about. So I told you my friend was like, oh, just come up here and get the rush tickets. So what I would do if I was doing this, telling somebody how to do this, if there's something you want to see, like the show that is the reason for the trip, book the tickets for that show. Like just pay the full price tickets, and book that show. Come on a weeknight if you can. The tickets will be a little bit cheaper. But then once you get here, get this app called Today Tix, Tix, formerly Gold Star, used to be called Gold Star. And then on there, they have a Lotteries and Rush tab. Click on that, tap on that, and it'll show you all the shows that they have lotteries and rush tickets for. So you might remember, like back in the day, you go to Times Square and stand in the line at the tickets booth. They still have the tickets booth, but this is like an online way. So you don't, because I was working, I didn't have time to go down there and stand in line. But the rush tickets open at like 9 a.m. every day. So you can set a little alert, and at 9 a.m. you open your app and you get the rush tickets for whatever is available that day. Or you can enter the lotteries either there, or some lotteries were on the show's own websites. Some of them were on like Lucky Seats, some of them were on Telecharge. But the point is, like, once you get here, you can figure out all those things. Like, it's hard to get rush tickets when you're not here because you don't know. But like once you're here and like, oh, I'm free tonight, you can go on the app and get some rush tickets. Okay, so I just wanted to share that. I guess that's it. So I do want to direct you to watch one of my other videos about time freedom. If I can remember the name of it. Time freedom is usually the block to doing the things that are on your list for someday. And so that's why I really talk about contract work and using it to make someday today. So there is a video on my channel. I think it's something like Achieve Time Freedom Through Contract Work. I will link to it in the description. So definitely go check that out. And if you got value from this video, please like it. Please share it with a friend who is interested in contract work or achieving time freedom. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so we can keep talking about time freedom and contract jobs and living your best life. And with that, I will say goodbye. Thank you for watching. Take care.